welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most common phrases in the Christian faith, something that's absolutely central to Jesus' message, but, well, it's also one of the most deeply misunderstood, the kingdom of God. So when I say those words, the kingdom of God, just for a second, what image pops into your head? Seriously, what do you actually see?
For a lot of us, it's probably something kind of like this, right? This beautiful, peaceful place, way off somewhere, maybe a heavenly destination we get to after we die. It's the popular image, the one we see in paintings and hear in so many songs.
But what if that popular picture is missing the point completely? As one scholar, Schuyler Fiction, puts it so well, few ideas have been as widely invoked and as deeply misunderstood as the kingdom of God. You see, getting this right isn't just about tweaking a minor detail. It changes pretty much everything. So to really get to the bottom of this, we have to do a little detective work. We've got to go all the way back to the original languages of the Bible. The key to unlocking the true meaning, it isn't in our modern ideas of what a kingdom is, but in the ancient words themselves. And right here, this is the absolute heart of the misunderstanding. We hear kingdom, and our brain immediately jumps to realm. You know, a physical territory, a destination on a map, something static. But the original biblical words, they don't really point to a place at all. They point to a reign, the dynamic, active, powerful act of a king. In the Hebrew Old Testament, the word is malkuth. Now, this comes from melek, which is the word for king, and it doesn't describe the king's land. It describes the king's activity, his governance, his active rule. Think of it less like a noun and more like a verb, like kinging. And this same idea carries right over into the New Testament. The Greek word they used is basileia. And guess what? Its primary meaning is exactly the same. Not a territory, but sovereignty. It refers to the divine activity itself, the ongoing, active authority of God.
So this idea of God's active reign, it's not just some obscure definition. It is embedded in the entire story of the Bible. And here's the thing, Jesus didn't just invent it. He was tapping into a really powerful hope that had been building up for centuries.
The Old Testament is just filled with this theme of God's malkuth. You see it right at creation, where God's rule brings order out of chaos. You see it big time in the Exodus. His reign isn't shown through land, but through liberation. Even the stories of Israel's flawed human kings, they just kept pointing to the deep need for God's perfect, direct rule, a future hope that the prophets promised would one day, finally, break into history. And this context is so crucial. The people Jesus was speaking to were waiting for this. They were living in anticipation of the moment God's malkuth would finally arrive. So when Jesus showed up and started speaking, he wasn't introducing some new concept. He was making a declaration. That long-awaited hope? It's here. And knowing this, that the kingdom is God's active reign, not some distant place, it completely reframes Jesus' central message. I mean, listen to these words. These are the very first words of his public ministry in Mark's gospel. The time is fulfilled, and the basileia of God, his reign, has come near. This isn't just the introduction. This is his entire message right from the start. Okay, but this brings up a huge question, doesn't it? If the kingdom isn't a physical place, what does it mean for it to come near? It's not like some spiritual continent is floating closer to Earth. So what exactly is happening here? It means that God's active rule, his authority, his way of setting things right, is breaking into our present moment. It means that in the person and work of Jesus, God's reign is no longer just some far-off future hope. It's an accessible present reality. It is here. It is now. And Jesus' parables paint this picture so perfectly. Think about the mustard seed. It starts out almost invisible, but then it grows into this transformative presence. Or the leaven, working silently from the inside to change the entire batch of dough. These are pictures of a dynamic, growing process, not a distant, static place. And maybe most directly, when the Pharisees asked him when the kingdom was coming, Jesus told them it isn't something you can just sit and watch for. Instead, he says, the kingdom of God is within you, or as it can be translated, among you. It's a present reality to be experienced, not a future destination on some celestial map. So we've gone through the language, we've looked at the history, but what does all this actually mean? Why does this big shift from realm to reign matter for us today? Well, it's a radical shift in perspective. The whole focus moves from a future destination to a present reality. From a place we just passively wait for, to a reign we actively participate in.
The invitation, then, isn't just about securing a spot in heaven someday. It's about joining in God's work of bringing His justice, His healing, His peace, His reign to earth, right here and right now. And this isn't just interesting theological trivia. It leaves us with one really direct, unavoidable question. If the kingdom of God is His active reign breaking into the world at this very moment, what part will you play in it? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.